Good morning students. Today we'll continue with the specifications of gelatin. So we had discussed yesterday Bloom's strength. So we have to discuss what is the viscosity and iron content of the gelatin. Bloom's strength, so it is defined as the weight in grams required to move a plunger of 0.5 inches in diameter 4 millimeter deep into a gelatin solution, that is 6 2 by 3 percentage concentration of gelatin, which is maintained at 10 degrees centigrade for about 17 hours. Okay, so this was a Bloom strength. Higher the Bloom strength, higher is the physical stability of the gelatin used, and also the cost of the gelatin is directly proportional to the Bloom strength we have seen. Okay, next viscosity. Viscosity, you know what is viscosity? Viscosity is nothing but you can say a state of thickness or fluidity or semi-fluid. How much is the, like how thick it is. So that is defined by its viscosity. So viscosity, it is determined on a 6% concentration of gelatin in water at 60 degrees centigrade, and it is a measure of the molecular chain length. Okay, so this viscosity, it can range from about 25 to 45 millipoise. So this millipoise is the units of your viscosity. Next, iron. Iron, it is always present in raw gelatin, and the quantity of the iron which is present, it usually, and its concentration depends on the iron content of the large quantities of the water which is used in its manufacture. And the gelatin which is used in the manufacture of soft gelatin capsules, it should not contain more than 15 ppm of iron. What is ppm? Parts per million. So the iron in soft gelatin capsule, it should not be more than 15 ppm, because it has its effects on FDNC. FDNC is food, drugs and cosmetics dyes, right? So because of the iron interaction on its dyes, and also because of the possible color reactions with the organic compound. So the iron concentration, it should be limited and should be always be checked, and it should be less than 15 ppm. Okay, next coming to the other components of gelatin shell, capsule shell. So we have seen capsule shell, what it contains. The principal component is here gelatin. Then apart from that, it contains here plasticizers, opacifying agent, coloring agent, flavoring agent, preservative, we have seen, right? So plasticizers. So as I have told you, plasticizers, why they are incorporated? To impart flexibility and plasticity. So as I have told you, soft gelatin capsules are more soft and they are more flexible. They are completely filled and sealed in one operation. So these plasticizers are common for your soft gelatin capsules. And the ratio W by W, that is weight in grams only. The ratio of dry plasticizer to dry gelatin, it determines the hardness of the gelatin shell. So if you know the ratio, you can determine what is your hardness of the shell. The examples of plasticizers includes here glycerin USP sorbitol USP pharmaceutical grade sorbitol. And one more example is pharmaceutical grade sorbitol. So all these are example for your plasticizers. Okay, so as I have told you, the ratio of dry plasticizer, as I have told you, in most of the capsule formation, glycerin is used as a plasticizer. So the ratio of dry glycerin to dry gelatin, it will tell you how much is the hardness of your shell. As you can see, hardness, the ratio of dry glycerin to dry gelatin, if it is 0.4 to 1, then you can say the hardness of the shell, it is very hard. If the ratio, that means glycerin is 0.6, gelatin is 1, then you can say it is medium hard. Okay, and if the glycerin weight is 0.8 grams, here dry gelatin is a 1 gram, then you can say that the hardness is soft. So depending on this ratio, you can tell whether you can define the hardness of your capsule shell. Okay, and the ratio of water to dry gelatin. The ratio of water to dry gelatin, it can vary from, like, the water ratio can be range from 0.7 to 1.3, and for gelatin it is almost 1. That means 0.7 to 1.3 ml, or you can say grams to 1 gram of gelatin, because it is W by W, because for water density is mass by volume, right? Here 1 ml, so mass will also become 1 gram. So 0.7, the water, it will range from 0.7 to 1.3 gram, whereas here gelatin is always 1 gram. Since water is lost during the capsule drying process, the percentage of plasticizer and gelatin in the shell is increased, but the ratio remains unchanged. Okay, because why the water is lost during the capsule drying process, the ratio of plasticizer to gelatin, the ratio, that means the percentage of plasticizer and gelatin, it will get increased, but the ratio remains unchanged. The ratio of plasticizer to gelatin remains unchanged, but the percentage of these two, it increases because of the loss of water. Okay, this is with the plasticizer. Next, coming to your additional components of your capsule shell. So like, you know, we have preservatives, colorants, opacifying agent, flavoring agent. So methyl paraben and the propyl paraben, 4 parts, 4:1 ratio. Methyl paraben is to propyl paraben will be 4:1 ratio, and in the concentration of 0.2% acts as a preservative. Then your FDNC, that is food, drugs and cosmetics dyes, DNC dyes. Apart from that, your lakes, pigments, vegetable colors. So all these lakes, pigments, vegetable colors, lakes, pigments, vegetable colors, or you can they can be used alone or they can be used in combination. Okay, they can be used alone or in combination, and all of these dyes, FDNC, water soluble dyes, they are used in QS, means quantity sufficient, and they act as colorants. Next, titanium dioxide. I have already told you it is the widely used opacifying agent. To impart opaqueness to your capsule shell, you use this as an opacifying agent, and the concentration of titanium dioxide, it ranges from 0.2% to 1.2%. Next year, ethyl vanillin. It is used in the concentration of 0.1%. It acts as a flavoring agent to give pleasant odor and taste. Next, essential oils, like, you know, essential oils, you have any flavoring oil, cinnamon oil, vanillin oil, peppermint oil. They can be used up to 2%. They also act as a flavoring agent to give us a pleasant odor and taste. And sugar, sucrose, is used in a concentration of 5% to produce chewable shell and taste. Next, fumaric acid, it is used in a concentration of up to 1%. It aids solubility. Okay, then in general, the additional components of the gelatin mass are limited. Why they are used? Sometimes they are used to produce the desired effect, and sometimes due to economic factors. So these additional components are used due to economic factors, and if you want to achieve the desired effect, the amount which is required to produce the desired effect, that much amount only you will use them, these additional components. And one more thing you have to remember is that the addition of medicaments to gelatin mass is usually not recommended. That means whenever you are preparing the gelatin mass, to this you are not adding your medicaments. Why you are not adding the medicaments to gelatin mass? Because you are using only 50% of the gelatin mass which you are preparing, that much only is incorporated into capsule. So the addition of medicaments into your gelatin mass is usually not recommended. Why? Because there is a 50% loss of gelatin. So if you add medicaments at this stage only, then there will be 50% loss of the medicaments also, right? There will be 50% of loss of the medicament. So in order to avoid this, you will not add. But however, certain high active inexpensive compounds such as your benzocaine. Okay, benzocaine, it is what? Lignocaine, benzocaine, they are all your local anesthetics. So this benzocaine, it is inexpensive and it is highly active. So such highly active inexpensive compounds such as benzocaine in chewable cough capsules may be used successfully. It is added in chewable cough capsules, so it can be added to the gelatin mass. One exception is benzocaine. It is used as a chewable cough capsules, so it can be added directly to your gelatin mass. Okay, and while using colors also you have to be very important, because sometimes I told you iron is present in gelatin. So dark spots may occur in the shell owing. How dark spots can occur? Due to the migration of water soluble iron sensitive ingredients from the fill material into the shell. See, I have already told you that iron, if it is present in more content, the water soluble iron contents will be there, now they will migrate. So due to that you will get a dark spots on your capsule shell. See, because if iron is present in gelatin and if iron is present in gelatin, dark spots may occur. Why? Because due to migration of water soluble iron sensitive ingredients. Okay, So due to migration of water soluble iron sensitive ingredients from the fill material into the capsule shell, from the fill material into the capsule shell, you might see the dark spots. Okay, and one more thing is, color, before a color is chosen, mixture should be checked in the lab by addition of water to see that if any reaction is taking place or not. That means before you are adding the material, you should check in the lab by addition of water to see if any reaction is taking place. For example, in case of ascorbic and iron salts in vitamin formulations, ascorbic acid and iron salts, ascorbic acid and iron salts, when you do in vitamin formulations, whenever you add water, okay, so you should check there is a reaction. So before using them, you should always check the whether is there any reaction is occurring in the laboratory or not, then only you can use it carefully. Okay, or is in the case of reactions between iron and phenolic compounds, there is also a reaction between iron and phenolic compounds. So always you should check the reaction before using them for your formulations. Okay, so this is with your capsule shell ingredients. So next class we'll start with your hard capsules. Next we have to discuss in detail about your hard capsules. Excuse me, like production of hard capsules, filling of hard capsules, raw material, QC test, and all are very important for each part. Okay, so this all will discuss in detail for hard capsules, then we'll proceed with your soft capsules. So I want you to read till now and ask me in case of any doubts. Thank you.